So I gotta be honest with you guys, I just have not felt like making a video. I've literally wanted to do this probably the last 4 days in a row, and I put it off every single day. I just haven't been in the mood, but I really need to put this one out. You guys have been asking for it. So I went to Colorado last week. It was a fun trip. I had some trouble out there. I'm sure you guys might have heard if you were watching the Shill Brothers channel, who I went out there with, that I had a little bout of altitude sickness. That was a lot of fun. So I wanted to do like a gear loadout video, and I mean, honestly, it's been like 3 weeks, I think, since I've uploaded a video. So this is long overdue. But since you guys have been patient with me and you've been asking about this, I'm gonna do my best to make this like a solid gear loadout video for you guys today. Alright, so here it is, all beautifully laid out for your viewing pleasure. Everything I carried with me on the Colorado Trail. I'm missing something. That's better. Okay, so I'm gonna go over the big four first: my backpack, tent, sleeping pad, sleeping bag, and then I'm gonna get into the nitty gritty here. I'm actually not gonna go over clothing. I made a separate clothing video, but clothing's not gonna be in this video. Neither is food, but if you would like to see the food that I carried and ate on this trail, you're just out of luck, because I ate it. So first off, we're gonna go into the backpack. This is my Light AF 40 liter, I almost said 40 degree, 40 liter curved backpack. This is the model that has the two stabilizer bars. So this is a framed backpack. This thing did great. So on this trip, I carried the most weight that I have in years. Starting out on day one with all my camera gear, with all my food, water, alcohol, this baby was packed up to 30 pounds. I haven't carried a 30-pound pack in probably like 4 years. But this thing did great as far as comfort and everything goes. It held the weight really great. Like, it was super heavy for me because I'm kind of a small dude, but it held the weight good. Love this pack. I actually, a lot of times I only run one hip belt pocket, but I put two on for this trip. Peak Designs camera clip, shoulder pocket as well. That's the backpack. For the sleeping bag, this is actually a quilt. It's made by Hammock Gear. This is an Econ 20 degree top quilt, which was great for the trip because it didn't even nearly get into, like, I think it was like 40s the whole time, maybe high 40s sometimes. So Hammock Gear, at least their Econ quilts are not really true rating. Like, this is kind of chilly into the 20s. So it was perfect. I didn't really sweat. I just slept really, really comfortable. Sleeping pad, I used the Thermarest NeoAir X-Lite. Always a pleasure. The tent right here, as you can see how I packed my pack on the last day. So the tent, this was huge. I love this tent on this trip. This is the Six Moon Designs Deschutes tarp, and I also had the Six Moons Serenity net tent that goes underneath it. The net tent, as easy as it looks to set up, it's not bad. It's just kind of a pain to clip it to the tarp. But the tarp itself, the coverage you get, the waterproofness, ventilation, I love this tarp. I'm actually thinking about getting the Dyneema version of this because I enjoy this so much out there. But this is like one of my MVP pieces of gear for this trip. I love that thing. Tent pole for that, I actually just used one of my trekking poles. So I had these little cheap carbon fiber trekking poles made by Tac Niner. They 7 ounces a piece, super light. One of these was my tent pole to set that up. Tent stakes, where are they at? So tent stakes, I went with the tried and true titanium shepherd hook stakes. So we're in the Rocky Mountains, right? So I'm thinking like, it's gonna be rocky. Are these gonna be good? Because people always bend them. They have problems with them pulling out in sandy terrain, but I just was a little worried about the rocks. And I was gonna just take like MSR groundhogs, because I have a bunch of these. I actually took 2. This is a Six Moon and a groundhog. I took 2 of these styled stakes. I just kind of brought 2 of these so that if any of these shepherd hooks like wouldn't hold in whatever corner of the ground, or if it was too rocky or sandy, I could use a bigger, better stake. That's debatable. Before I packed, I told myself, no, like I'm a shepherd hook advocate. I've never had these fail. I feel like if you push them in the ground and you bend them, like, are you just pushing it into a rock? Like, you're gonna bend either any stake, or you're not gonna get any stake into a rocky ground. I had absolutely no problems with these. I freaking love these stakes because they weigh nothing and they have never let me down. I'm going to continue to use them until they do let me down. I also brought a mosquito head net on this trip. I've never had a really a use for these. More clothes. I brought a bivy buff. I brought Dirty Girl gaiters, which I don't even think I wore but like one day. Nitrile gloves for like wet weather, so I could throw them over or under my warm gloves, which I actually wore these quite a bit because my hands get really cold. These would have been useful in mosquitoes because apparently, Scott told me this out there, that mosquitoes can bite through a lot of different fabrics, but they can't bite through any fabric that isn't woven. So like things that are like super waterproof, like these surgical style gloves, or wind layers like my Montbell wind shirt here, they can't bite through those layers. So when we were bundling up trying to get ready to go through the mosquito hell, you know, I had this stuff at bay. I brought my Helinox Chair Zero. This is always a pleasure. It's in a custom printed Dyneema chair bag here made by Hilltop Packs. For stove and fuel, I used alcohol on this trip. So this is actually, I don't remember the name of it, but Scott that we went with owns a brewery. This is actually the alcohol that they make their alcohol with. It's like, I don't know, it's like 190 proof, like 95% alcohol. The guys were enjoying what we called stove fuel cocktails out there, so that was interesting. I just brought my Toke 600, what is this? I think it's a 600 milliliter Toke's titanium pot with a lid, a little homemade koozie as well. And I have my coffee mug, which is a Toke's titanium with a koozie. It's a 450. Then I have my stove set up, which I have a little windscreen made out of a pop can alcohol stove, which is super, super tiny, but it's always been enough. If I fill this up, it's usually too much fuel for like 2 boils. But I have a little pot holder as well that goes like that. And then I have a little piece of cloth, steel wool cloth, to use as a handle so I don't burn myself. There's my plane ticket. Didn't use that. This is my poop kit kept on the outside of my pack. Toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and Deuce of Spades trowel. Had to use that a few times. Food bag, or my bear bag. This is the Light AF Little Bear bag. It's flat bottom, so this is actually an awesome design. I highly, highly recommend bear bags from Light AF because they have this flat bottom design. You sit it down, unroll it, it stands up, you get in it. Other bear bags kind of fall over, this and that. The flat bottom is awesome. Although I don't believe they're going to make these in Dyneema anymore. They have like some new, like crazy lightweight material that I haven't got my hands on yet, but I'm excited to try. I think it's called Ultra something. Thing of Picardin. Where's my ditty bag at? There it is. Okay, so I think that's my ditty bag. So for water filtration, Sawyer Squeeze, tried and true, awesome. I have 2 Sawyer Squeeze bags, so I had 2 liter capacity of dirty water. For my water bottles, I use Life water bottles, the 23.7 ounce versions. Could have went with the full liter, but I just like putting in and out the smaller bottles in my pack. It's just easier. A little bit less capacity, but that's fine. I had over 3 liters capacity on this trip. Tent bags, microfiber cloth, a little plastic bottle cut down. That's my scoop to scoop water and put it into my dirty water bags. This is a little dry bag from Walmart that I've had forever. This was my pillow. I would put my extra clothes in it. use it as a pillow, use it as a dry bag, keep my stuff dry in my pack in the case of rain. Use just a trash bag for a pack liner in my bag, electronics and whatnot. So I had a little cut down toothbrush, I had a Bic lighter, I have just a Petzl Taquina headlamp. I put new batteries in it before I left so I didn't have to carry extra batteries. I also carried a Spot Gen 3 GPS device, you know, in case I get like altitude sickness out there and like everybody would have to leave me and I'd have to just like find my way out on my own, which luckily I didn't have to use it. I took a little bottle of aspirin, which came in handy. RAV Power 10,000 milliamp battery bank. This battery bank is incredible. I love this thing. This is camera gear. I'll get into that in a minute. Other stuff in the ditty bag I brought was a little thing of Body Glide, which I actually didn't use at all. I didn't even put it on before I started hiking. I really only chafe when I sweat. So not a lot of humidity out there, didn't sweat at all. I mean, I sweated a little bit, but not like in the nether region. This is my first aid kit. Little Band-Aids, Benadryl, decongestant, burn cream, stuff like that. Didn't use any of that, except I did, somebody gave me Benadryl on the trip because I had a huge bug bite that swelled up the size of a softball on the back of my calf. And it was there for like a week, but I was a little concerned about that. These are actually salt tabs too, so I use these for like ultra running and running marathons and stuff. I definitely was dipping into those on this trip. And another MVP of the trip, the KFC Sport. Almost lost it. I thought I lost it at one point. So I'm gonna tell you the camera gear I brought, and then I'm gonna go through and dissect what each compartment weighed, so to speak, in this pack, so why it weighed 30 pounds when I started. I used the Mi Photo tripod. It's actually kind of a hybrid. I put a top ball head on from a different tripod I have, but this weighs 2 pounds, so this is huge. The camera is a Canon SL3. I brought like 4 extra batteries, extra SD cards, 1 extra lens, which is a pancake lens, kind of small. So camera gear is 4 pounds. The pack, starting day 1, fully loaded out with everything, was 30 pounds. So I'll tell you right now, I had 3 beers and a bottle of bourbon. So I had probably 4 pounds of just alcohol. And this was, I figured we would consume it all like day 1 or 2. So I wasn't planning on carrying like a ton of beer on the trail, but I was on vacation, you know. I cracked one open the very first time we stopped. My camera gear is actually 4 pounds as well. So 28 pounds without camera gear. If you factor in alcohol, that takes me down to 24 pounds. I had a 6-pound food bag, so that would be, what, 18 pounds. Camera gear is actually over 4 pounds. So honestly, a little bit heavier than normal. My base weight was probably around 12 pounds, which normally it's like 11. I can get it down under that if I really want to, but I was really looking for comfort on this trip, and it was just too much weight, honestly. I think just the sheer pack weight, the amount of elevation we were doing on day 1, it didn't help the fact that my body was not adjusted to the altitude. So basically, I live at 900 feet above sea level. We flew out, and within 12 hours, we were at 9,000 feet, starting the climb immediately up to about 10,500. So 10,000 feet above like where I'm at normally, and then we stayed up by 11. We were up at 12,000 feet for like hours. I think like 4 miles we were up there, and it was just rough. And I think I would have been okay, or it would have been better if my pack was a lot lighter, because I was fine when I'd stop. I was fine going slow, but anytime I pushed just a little bit too hard, I would really start feeling lightheaded, and just the extra energy it took to carry a heavier pack than I'm used to, it just wasn't good. So that's it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching my loadout on this trip. That trip was rough for me. I'm not gonna lie. The altitude sickness I had, it was just like AMS, acute mountain sickness. It was really, the first day hit me horribly bad, and I battled it kind of the whole time I was out there. It wasn't really lungs as much as it was just like up in my head, like headaches, nausea, lightheadedness. But it was rough, and it's really not going to come out in the video much because honestly, this is the least I've ever filmed on a backpacking trip. So I'm going to try to throw a video for you guys together of what I got. I honestly, I haven't even looked at the footage yet. I just think it's gonna suck. But I did film a little bit out there, and yeah, that'll about do it for this one. So once again, thank you guys for watching and subscribing. Always appreciate the comments and the likes. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. I just spit, and I'll see you in the next one.